Hey YouTube, Genre here with a Naruto CCG deck profile. I'm going to be showing off my favorite deck of all time today. It uses a certain rogue list because Toby Mom is banned, the one that draws 2 cards and discards a card, so we don't use that. Other things that are funny on the rogue list, I'll post it down in the comment section so you see what I'm talking about. But otherwise, the format is really, all over the place. You can run whatever you want. But this deck runs all my favorite cards in one deck, and it has multiple different strategies. And it's just a really fun deck to use. And if you have any suggestions to make about it or any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, here we go. 0 drops. Hotaru, which I think is the best 0 drop in the game. It has everything you're looking for, and it's I love hitting this on 0 because it sets up a good foundation for the rest of the game. Same thing with Tracking Ninja, because this one has good attack, and it has some support. It has ambush. So both of these are good to hit on turn 0 because it starts scaring your opponent away early on. Hanare. I'm running this instead of Stark of Childhood because it does most likely draw a card and then charges a card. It does have Genjutsu for free by Genjutsu. It has a 2 mental power. But most importantly, if I drop this late game, it does look at my opponent's hand. So if they don't have a Jutsu or anything to scare me away, I can drop this, see that they have nothing, and swing out and win from there. So it is good, but sometimes I do miss the support that Sakura Childhood or other 0-drop support ninjas have. So it's up to you if you were to make this deck to run this or to not run this. But I like what it does for me right now. Gaara draws a card. Really, really good 0-drop if you're going to squad Gaara Tamari later on. Kushina. Limit 1 per deck, that's why I'm not running more of these. If it wasn't limit 1 per deck, I'd be running probably 2 or 3 of these. This card's amazing. Ninjutsu, mental power, gets 2 chakra from your deck. It was banned, it's unbanned now at 1. It hasn't really been that much of a problem in the meta, so it's good as a 1-of. I think it's a staple, but some people don't even run this card. But I think you'll like this card a lot because it's just amazing. Getting 2 chakra early on is just really good. The last 2 0-drops I run are 2 Sabaru, and some of you may know that I ran 1 of these at Gen Con. I'm running 2 of them now just because in unlimited format, if you're going to play with all cards legal, shutting down ninja effects is crucial. That's why I'm running 2 of these now. I ran 1 of them. 2 of them was good. 3 is overkill because you run comp strength, but this card, I don't really drop this unless I have to. If I'm desperate and I have to drop this card as a ninja, then I will, but otherwise this card has won me so many games. This cannot be negated, so if my opponent plays something funny that I don't like, I'm going to negate it immediately. If I have comp strength, that's my backup. But this card is really, really good. Perfect sideboard card if you want to use it in your sideboard. And in general, this card has won me many games. Having this and comp strength in hand, it makes me completely confident that I'm going to beat my opponent because they can't really do much. 1 drops. My favorite card in the game, as it stands right now. Tamari Windscythe looks at your opponent's hand. You already know by now that any card that looks at my opponent's hand, I love that card automatically. And it plucks a Jutsu. And then from there, you can do funny things with Gaara Tamari. This card is just so sexy, though. And I like this better than the 0-drop Tamari. Kabuto, limit 1 per deck. You'll never be more than 1 per deck. It's just an amazing card. Tutors for a water mission. You got to run this if you're running any type of water missions, monster research, and things like that. So, and it has medical. If you want to go medical route with this deck and run reanimation jutsu, you can. Otherwise, this card is really good to hit on turn 1. Set up your hand. Karen, I always run a 1 of Karen in my decks. It heals, it has ambush, mental power. It's good. It stalls out the game sometimes. This card is broken. If you're already winning, it helps you win more. Otherwise, if you're losing, this card is not really that good. That's why it's not banned. Otherwise, this card is only mini games. If you want to go a certain route with the deck in your own deck and run this and 3-mind transfers and things like that, you can. But I just run this as a 1-up to get the pluses to my hand. And it's really good. 2 drops. I only run 2. KNS, you got to run this. Card is broken. Amazing. Mental power, has everything. Support. Attack if you have to attack. It has everything you need. Protect your ninjas, your leaf ninjas. 3 drops. Because Toby's banned, I'm only running 1 now. I'm only running 1 3-drop, and it's this guy right here, Naruto. This card is broken as well, so just for a wind or lightning mission. Pumps all your guys. You know what this card does. This card is so damn good. 4 drops. this, but by now, if you know me, and some of you watching this video know me, I run this in like every deck. This is just ridiculous. This card, you can run it whatever Sasuke you want to run, but I love this Sasuke because it tutors out ambush guys that I need, tutors out certain things. You can Anko's memory, things back to your hand if you want to. You can set up a big play on turn 5. You can squad these two together. This guy gets a bunch of Ambu guys. If you run a lot of Ambu guys, again, if you want to take a different route with this deck, a different type of deck that you want to make, you can run Kisuke 0 drop. He has Ambu. He can get Kisuke out. He can get other Ambus out. It's whatever you want to do. But I love this combo right here. I love hitting these guys on turn 4. A lot of mental power here. Both these guys can go into Danzo. Both these can squad into Sasuke Kakashi and just lock my opponent's board out. And then from there, I just win. And, of course, this guy won me multiple games, has won me multiple games. This card is amazing. You squad this with, you platoon this with Tamari. If you want to run more mind transfers, you can mind transfer or use the Sasori 5 drops power to steal their Konkoro or their Tamari and then platoon over it and then just, make your opponent sad face, things like that. 5 drops. This guy, Yamato, he has Ambu for the Kakashi that I run. So you got to run this. It also tutors. It has the ability to get missions and jutsus back to hand. It's amazing. And you can squad Naruto, Yamato if you want to. It's a little funny thing. Itachi looks at your opponent's hand. I run this in every single deck. This is also has Ambu. Kakashi can get him. And if you know what you have in your opponent's hand, you can swing out. You can play conservatively. You can rush out. I mean, this card is just so good. And you can go into Panitachi if you want to. And that has mastery and other things. But this card is amazing. And a new card that I started running again is Sasori. This card is also broken. This card is amazing. With this guy, he has ambush. He has the ability to steal your opponent's ninjas, and you can squad them into other things, and really screw up with your opponent's board. You can Hydro Pump and then steal their guys. This card's amazing. He has multiple squads and reinforcements that he can go into that can shift the game into your control. So I like him. Plus, I need a lot of late game guys, and these three hold it down for the most part until I squad into my other guys. But this is a really good setup. So those are my ninjas. Missions, I have obvious. This card is limit 2 per deck. That's why I don't run 3. But if it was limit 3, I'd run 3 of these. This card is broken. Draws 3. Can't organize, but big deal. You draw 3. A new card that I run because Toby is banned. I replace it with this, Drifting Clouds. This card is also broken. It pluses eventually. You get to swap your hand. If you have garbage in your hand, you can swap it. +1. The next turn you can swap. Draw again. You can play a mission. After that, this card's really good. And plus I'm running because it's foiled. So sexy. Another staple card. This is the 3rd card I run. So first card I run that's by a champion card, or by a champion right here. Champion card. 2nd champion card. 3rd champion card. Because they're just also broken. This card is amazing. You already know what this card does. If you're going to run mental power guys, you have to run this. This card is so damn good. And again, it combos extremely well with my deck. You can get Tamari, win side with this, and then drop it on turn 4 and swing out and win. You can target a KNS with this card, get a platoon, the Kankuro Tamari platoon, and then play Wind Scythe and then drop the platoon over it, and your opponent has no hand. It's just so damn good. And you saw this coming. Another champion card, Monster Research. You already know what this card does. This card is in almost every single deck. Helps filter my deck, and it gets cards in my hand. And then, of course, the hand control card. This card's really good. If late game, if you know what your opponent has in their hand, and you have something in your hand, and you get lucky enough to get rid of the right card in their hand, you can shift the game into your command and just go from there. This card's really good. Limit 1 per deck. That's why I'm not running more than 1. Same thing with this card. Limit 1 per deck. It's never going to be anything but limit 1 per deck. Gets cards from my chakra area. You already know what this card does. If I have a big chakra area with a lot of my comp strengths in there, or my other missions, or jutsus and things like that, you can just pick it up. This works well with the Sasuke. And then you already know I'm running these. 3 of these. This card's back to limit 3. It has to be limit 3 now. The format is all over the place. Multiple broken ninja effects, so you have to run 3 of these. Most people won't. I do. I love this card. I love running 3 of these in 2 Saburus because it locks my opponent out from using any card effects. And that's why I've been winning a lot of the games recently, because, again, I shut down ninja effects. So this card's amazing. One-off client Amy, you already know that this card helped me win Gen Con not that long ago. I ran 2 of them. You can run 2 of these if you want to. I run 1 because, again, it's all it takes is 1 to win. If you want to run 2 or 3, you can, but I run it as a 1-of, and this is a card, again, a card on its own that can shift the game into your command. Jutsus, 3 for your buy, broken card. You already know what this card does. It's amazing with Mastery, Sage Mode, Painatachi, whatever you want to do with this. Sorry, Pop-Up Mode, this card's amazing. Petals, you already know what this card does. If you have ninjutsu guys in your deck, you have to run this. You run 8 or more jutsu, you have to run this card. This card's amazing. What else do we have here? Oh, Infinite Embrace, again, another staple card, pretty much in every single deck. Everyone has the ability to pay these costs unless you run a completely mono deck, but this card is amazing. And amazing early game and late game. So you got to run it. Hydro Pump. Duh. This card is stupid. So a lot of 1-ups so far, as you can see. But this card is even more stupid than these two. And I run a 1-of these. You can run a Ferocious Punch if you want to, or any type of negation. But I run one of these because I do run Eno. I ran this as Ferocious Punch. You can do that if you want to. It doesn't matter. I just like this card because again, if I have 8 rewards and my opponent has their team split up and I swing out 3 teams, I can steal one of their last guys on one of the third teams and then just get my 2 rewards that I need. This card is just really good. It's amazing with Mastery, and again, this is constantly switching between Ferocious Punch and other things, but this card is good. And then a card that has been unbanned and now 1 per deck, Water Dragon Jutsu. Again, this is a Hydro Pump on steroids. So both these cards are pretty much on steroids, but this one's I think is better. This card, I like the ability to give them damage to my opponent's ninjas. Putting them back to the hand sometimes will allow them to play the next turn, but this card just wipes the board. This card is broken with anything with Mastery. You can just literally wipe the board. But both of these are my late game killers. And so that's the deck. Now I have my reinforcement board. I'm going to just do this quickly. I can go into this. This obviously. This is just filler. This is if I steal a Hinata or a Sakura or both. I can maybe squad into these. Maybe it's a Sori's ability. I don't know. This is just filler. I just like the way this looks. This I can actually go into this. Again, I can do this with Gar Tamari and steal a Kankuro, or do Tamari Kankuro platoon and then play a Gar and do this. It's pretty good. This obviously staple. If you're running Naruto, you have to run this. This card's amazing. I can go into this if I wanted to. It's okay. Sasori can crack into this. You have to run this if you're running that Sasori that I'm running. This card is amazing. You have to run this. You might as well. I have a Sasuke and Naruto. It's really good. If I mind transfer a Sasuke, I can squad these 2 and then go from there. Danzo, you got to run this. This card is amazing. Now that I run Sasori, I put this on my reinforcement board and squad board. This can clean the board on its own. You have to run this if you're running that Sasori that I'm running, because again, it can do broken things late game. Sasuke, thank you, John Burke. You have to run this because it's the only legal Sasuke state 2. This, in case I steal a Rock Lee, and obvious card. And so, to finalize this, just my sideboard. Though, again, you can run whatever sideboard you want to use, but I found that these certain cards are pretty good. But again, if I'm going to play competitively, the sideboard constantly changes depending on who's playing what, things like that. But in general, Sasuke wipes the board against Mill, against Rush. Pretty good. 2 Hina against Mill and other permanent mission decks that I don't like. It helps sometimes. Eno against Rush and things like that. I can growth this over the turn 1 Eno if I want to. It's pretty good. Fangs Rush, 1-of this time. Against True Allies, against a deck that, if you're running, you're facing against like Tears from Rebirth or other special decks that rely on 1 or 2 cards to get a combo off, you can use this to get rid of the dangerous card in their hand. Yoroi against No Hand Water. You got to run this, I think. It's limit 1 per deck. It's pretty good. Locks people out. Shino, this is just a scrub card that I'm running. A lot of decks running Shika's Decision, Naruto, Kankuro Trick, things like that search your deck and things like that. This shuts them down. If you go first and play this, it makes them cry. So threw it in there. Back to Zetsu, obviously. I mean, I said that this card was like a staple in every deck before. It kind of is. I mean, you kind of have to run this. This card is really good. I would have it in my main board, but I don't have room for it technically, so I have it in my sideboard against True Allies and even Wind. If you face a Wind deck that runs Tamari type stuff, you can call Tamari. They can't use Tamari. They can't use Kankuro Tamari. They can't use Gara Tamari. And so it's pretty good. And then finally, these two great Naruto bridges. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. Angel will probably say something to me. I run this because there's no tech against counter missions that is of any relevance. So I run this to stop counter missions, and it also is good against effects that I don't like. So again, that's my deck. Really, really fun to use. Looks like a pile right now, but let me know what you think. Okay.